Hey, legends, welcome back. I am so excited to have run into a fellow Canadian event producer and CEO, Anick Beaulieu, who is a partner, CEO of C2 Montreal, an event that we love to go to. We had a really juicy conversation about the power of environment, about creating immersive experiences, and how important it is that we step out of the day-to-day, step out from behind the Zoom room in the office, and we immerse ourselves in places that allow creativity and collaboration to really come to the forefront. We got to hear about their themes, some of the amazing speakers, the events, and what their key to winning the future really looks like. So come on behind the scenes and enjoy this combo with me and Anick. So fun to connect with you here. I love it. Two Canadians hanging out in Texas.
Yeah.
South by, you've been here before. This is our first time. So great. I would love if you could share with our audience a little bit about C2 for those listening that haven't been yet. What is C2? What is the big mission that you stand for?
So C2 stands for Commerce and Creativity. These are the two C's. And we're first and foremost an experiential studio. We are mostly known for our flagship, C2 Montreal, which happens in May every year. This year is May 20 to 22nd. And it's basically kind of like a business festival where we explore how, commerce and creativity coexist to propel society and businesses forward. So we love to do great formats. We love our environment design and make everything really engaging.
The environment design, we need to dive into that because you really hang your hat on that. I've been coming to C2. I've been maybe 4 or 5 times, actually.
Yeah, we see each other.
I love it.
The gathering's great too, by the way.
Yes. So, plugs. We're plugging. But I think a lot of conferences suck. They're like PowerPoint presentations and, you get your badge, you go sit in on a session and then you're like, oh, I want to get out of here, right? And I think what we really have in common and what I love so much about C2 is the environment that we create is it expands people, right? And it engages people. So I'd love if you can share a little bit on what your stance is on experiential. It's obviously where you play and how the experience and the environment helps us transform and create results in our business and in our life.
Well, we really pay a lot of attention to a lot of details, like the way we actually curate every single touch point of the experience. To me is one of the most, singular thing about C2. And all of that comes because we believe experiences are a great generator of collective intelligence and can really help kind of, elevate what we can do as human through our roles in business, because that's really where we play in B2B experiences. And so everything you were talking about in terms of environment design, we see it as world creation. So when you think about great video games or movies or any great IP, it's really that capacity to look at, what is the concept and how does it decline around every single touch point. So the environment, the content, different formats, the F&B that's going to be there so that people really feel that they're stepping into some kind of bubble, which then feels like you're kind of traveling, which then means you're going to be immersed and engaged. We love to create little moments of surprise. So, kind of design the unpredictable in a way to keep people on their toes and play with high and low level of energy, play with formats so that really people feel they have agency and that they're deeply involved. And then, I think some of the best of experiences actually happens outside of experiences. So how do you then create digital layers and feedback loop from what you've heard about your community to keep improving and for people to feel that they're kind of shaping that experience that you're producing. And, we're both fortunate to have brands that we can like fully curate in a certain way that we do with our flagship C2 Montreal. But then we love to explore how that can be applied to different projects and clients and partners when we look at designing their own experiences.
I love it. And the elements of surprise have always been so fun at CT. Like, I think the first year I went, there was a ballroom, like you jumped in the balls, and that was networking, like ballrooms as a kid. That's called, right? Ballroom. And then Cirque du Soleil had a whole activation as well. So,
And Nest, I think.
yeah, it was amazing. And that makes you want to stick around, right? Not
For
like
sure.
get your badge and be like, oh, let's bounce at lunch.
But also, I think, you know, what you were describing earlier about having so much predictability when we're being hosted
Yes.
in our business capacity. It's like, oh, let's bring the PowerPoint and the little tables and the clots and like the 15-minute break, networking. Like, you know, I think that when you look at a lot of what's being done from an experience perspective in like music festivals or concerts or can help draw so much inspiration, because at the end of the day, we're human, right? So our human self, when we're entertaining under our personal time or when we're representing a business, is not a different human. So the levers to kind of touch that person are the same. And we really love to play with that, bring a little bit of that kind of magic into business environments.
It's letting people feel things and experience things and expand themselves. So powerful. I'm curious for you, what has the experience been in a post-COVID world, like creating an event and creating an in-person experiences? What's shifted for the event and for your community? And how is that changing the landscape of experiential?
I mean, that's a long, that could be a long answer.
I know.
But I think there's a couple of points. First, there was huge drama, and everyone or anyone who's been in that business has felt it, whether they were on the client side or on the producer side. And it took time to really, just for the talent to readjust, for travel to be back to normal levels. And so, you know, I think there was a lot of uncertainty that went beyond, you know, how they were talking about long COVID. Like, I think the industry got a little bit of that. That being said, it changed the way we work. We're more dispersed. We work from home, more part-time from home. People don't travel as much. Like, it's far more normal now to do a pitch or a client meeting on Zoom than it was in the past. And so the need for actual strong, meaningful human connections in real life is so much more intense in a way.
And needed.
Yeah. And so this is really where, for us, we want to continue playing. And I also think that it's kind of putting pressure from a quality perspective in terms of what you need to be producing when people actually make it to those moments. And I think that this for us is a huge opportunity.
Huge opportunity, bringing people together, getting them outside of the day-to-day.
But finding ways to do it in a way that's more meaningful because it's more rare in a certain way.
Yeah, and memorable.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
You root into a theme every year at the event. What's the theme this year?
So it's motion, the art of taking action. And we just felt like there's so much happening. And we've talked a lot about, you know, sometimes the theoretical aspect of things. Theoretical aspect is my French. Aspect of things. And we just feel like there's so many things that are being done that are advancing different topics. And we want to talk about those. We want to be inspired by those. And I think we're excited about that notion of like advancing and moving.
Yes.
And pushing. And art, because, well, this is our little, you know, creative side. And we feel that there's an art in actually like taking action. And so the art will be present everywhere on the side this year. And then that notion of movement will also be exploited across the different touch points. Yeah.
Taking action, so powerful.
Yeah.
And art, inspiring action.
Yeah.
Inspiration without action is stagnation, I think, right? So,
that's good.
I don't know. I love it. Great theme. What is a bold move that you're making as a leader, as an organization this year?
Well, we all know that these are kind of like challenging times for Canadians. And I think one of the things that we're doing that's pretty bold is we're really trying to welcome the world to Canada during C2 to do business, make new friends, discover what's being done out there. So we have delegations we're working on from Mexico, from Colombia,
Amazing.
from Brazil, from France, from Japan. We're talking to the folks from Netherlands. And so I really feel that there's this momentum where it's like, okay, we're being shaken in many ways, but once again, like action, emotion.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, this is what we do that's at our best, I think, like bringing people together.
Yeah.
And, discovering what we can create together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit more about that collective intelligence piece? Because I loved hearing you speak yesterday about that, and you mentioned that earlier. So we can always circle back there. Like, what is collective intelligence, and how does opening the doors to bringing new communities and into the event shape that?
It's not a secret that we're facing challenges as a society, and there's a lot of things that are moving really fast, and solving anything alone is impossible. And we often see or talk about the worst.
Yes.
And or the negative impacts of some technologies, whether it's climate, and so I really think that there's a way to tap into positivity.
I love that.
By bringing people together, and that most people are actually good and want to do good and want to be involved. And want to be a change agent. And so for me, I think it's like, how do we create that context for people to come together and advance business, advance various, challenges that we're facing in society as well through the lens of business. And that's part of why I really love that space, because when we are representing our companies, it comes with, budgets, it comes with impact, it comes with influence. And so like there's power there to be harnessed. And yeah.
I love it. We anchor into a theme every year also. And this year, our theme is winning the future together.
See?
So I'd love if you can expand a little bit on that for us. Like when I share winning the future together, what does that mean for you? What do you think is required to win the future together?
I really love it because I feel like it's kind of like a recap of our conversation thus far. And, then what is winning? I think it's advancing. Yeah. I think it's solving problems. I think together brings this notion of doing it as a team, referring to what, I was just talking about. Like, nothing can be done alone, right? Whether it's in your business, even in your family,
Totally.
So the together aspect, I feel, is also kind of like a call to action to actually be involved when you show up, let's say, to the gathering. And so I love it. And I'm excited to go.
I love it. Yeah. You are a high performer. And events are high stakes. Like, we both know how much pressure. We were kind of joking before. It's like the countdown is on, and this is exactly how many days to your event and to my days and to my event as well. I'm curious for you, what are the habits that you've cultivated to perform at a high level? How do you take care of yourself and restore and rejuvenate mind, body, soul so you can continue to play at a high level?
Well, I would be lying if I said it's all figured out.
It's a work in progress. I love it.
It's a work in progress. But I think for me, a lot of the balance is anchored in my really closely knit family.
Yeah.
Spending time with my daughter that is really uncompromised. My husband is great. We take time together as well. We find time. And I think we have even within the team, it's okay when we say like, oh, I'm more tired today.
Totally.
Or this thing is happening. Like, I might take a bit of time, or then show up when it really matters without counting the hours.
Totally.
Because this is what the moment requires. And so I think we're at a point in the company culture that we can kind of call it out a bit, which relieves some of the pressure of like trying to be so much and everything and perfect all the time. Because we're all human, right? So, and then I think for me, what I need to focus on this year is to reintegrate a little bit more of that sport aspect, like take time for me and like do my trainings and stuff. I still manage to do it a bit, but I need to kind of like get back to a point where it's a little bit more rigorous.
I love it. Well, there's always different seasons, right? And it's tuning into what does the season need. And I love what you said about, meeting the moment and giving the moment what it needs and having a place, a safe place in your culture that you guys can just communicate and name it and share like, here's my energy. I'm a little depleted. I need some help.
Or even with the kids, like I have so many people in the team and they have young kids and then they're at the daycare and they're sick. And it's just like, I think like calling it out is actually a portion of like relieving part of that pressure. And then it's like, okay, let's move on and, and understand that there are days that are just a little harder sometimes.
Yes, having grace with yourself with that too. I love it. Give us a little taste of C2 this year. What you shared the theme already, but what are some of the things that we can look forward to? Who are the speakers you're excited about?
So a couple of really exciting ones. We have the global head of creative for Pinterest. So that's really interesting.
Xanthi.
Kind of like Xanthi, figure out what are the trends that are up and coming. Then we have Kimberly Davis, which is NHL, and it's going to talk about diversity.
Amazing.
And then Daphne Cousineau, CEO at Jimmy Choo. So these are a few, but there's many others.
Pages and pages. The lineup is long.
And the lineup is long. And we're bringing back our labs.
Amazing.
So experiential brainstorming. The restaurants are going to be awesome. Networking once again. And like we're back by the water. At the beautiful Grand Quay. So lots of exciting stuff to look out for.
Amazing. Yeah, I have a memory of last year. I was like on the rooftop doing some dance in French with some headphones.
Yes. How's your French doing?
That was an uncomfortable moment because it was like since high school that I'd really used my French. So it was, but it was good. And it was, I was so present because I think when you put yourself in those situations as well and you're outside of your comfort zone, like, you just got to be present in the moment and embrace it. And I had signed up for the wrong class. I thought I took the English class and it was the French one. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to do it. We're going to go with it.
Go with the flow.
And it was so, so good. So our team's excited to come out again and
that's awesome.
And to come check it out. So
grateful.
Yeah, so grateful. Thank you for the conversation.
Well,
Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, and then let's go back to
Go back to Texas.